Hey everybody, Star 6 Wars 1 here, and welcome to part 7 of Persona 3 versus 11 Eyes characters section. Wow, this has had a lot of parts. But don't worry, this is the last time we'll be talking about the main character versus Wise, with Shiori versus Aigis. Now, first up, like any other time, we are going into the voice actress of Aigis. The voice actress for Aigis is Karen Strassman. Now, that's all well and good, but she's played several animation roles, my notable ones being Colin Stadfield from Code Geass, Ryder from Fate Stay Night, and Nanako from Persona 4. So we have all three of those, and she's done many more anime roles. There's one she does in Fate Zero, etc., etc. She is probably one of the last ones I'll be talking about, too, as most of the voice actors will start repeating, though in characters we will be going over at least one or two more. So don't worry, we're not done the characters yet. Not by a long shot. Alright, now to Aigis and Shiori. Since I started to talk with the voice actress first, let's go with Shiori. Okay, I'm going to be very blunt here and say this. Shiori is both a very interesting character, but at the same time has so much wasted potential. The problem with her, I think, is either she's too subtle, which I'm hoping that is the reason, so I can be proven quite wrong, or the fact that the story wasn't developed well enough. Something I've been noticing with these videos is how many flaws 11 Eyes actually has. And it's not intentional. I still love this series, but I'm really starting to notice the anime had so much potential to it, but wasted some of it. And I hate noticing that. But enough with that rant. We'll be talking about that more, I think, when we get into story. For now, Shiori. Shiori is a transfer student from Spain. And if you know anything about Spain, you might be realizing Vatican, hello, Holy Office of the Index, the people she's working for. Guess what? These people work directly under the Vatican, so yeah, there's that. She goes there to, I think, spy on the fragments, originally being a fragment herself. I'm not exactly sure if she was knowing of it or not. Also, turns out she was the one who revealed to Kukuri the secret of this, and results in Kukuri killing herself. Yeah, maybe that wasn't a smart move on Shiori's part. She meets up with Kakeru and the others, and makes two friends in the forms of Kaori and Tadashi. These two we'll get into in the next part, but needless to say, they warmed up to her pretty damn fast. Now, for the first little while of the anime, she's just kind of a side character, with them being the deadpan snarker of the group. Up until around episode 8, when she finally shows off the fact, hey, you're not the only one with these powers, I got them too. She continues to be of assistance from episode 8 onwards. I can't go too much into that without spoilers, but then again, I've spoiled most of everything else. She reveals the truth of the Black Knights and the fragments and everything else in the anime, and that she continues to be so. Something else that should be noted, and this is revealed in episode 11, her body is fake. She is a puppet, like a doll, though she's not a homunculus. she did once have a real form. We're not exactly sure in the anime why she looks like a doll, though. And I'm not exactly sure if the visual novel reveals anything more either. So, there's that. I'm not exactly sure what happened to her at the very end, but I think that she died, like the others. But after that, they never meet Shiori when the world is reformed, so leaves her fate undetermined. Is it wrong of me to call Shiori a bit of a wasted potential? The visual novel goes so much more into depth, and while her change of heart is due to Kaori and Tadashi, unfortunately, I feel it's kind of half-hearted. We don't see enough of the three together to really understand enough. Yeah, we can get a little bit of it, and I can understand why she turned away from the path she did, because she was originally, I think, supposed to kill Kakeru and everyone else, but instead was help them, defying the Holy Office of the Index's orders, which, by the way, was only revealed in like the final few episodes, and it plays a much bigger role in the visual novel. That's dumb. Shiori is, in my opinion, the ultimate show of wasted potential. Though she's not the only one in 11 Eyes, we've already covered a few of them, like Takahisa, and to an extent Misuzu, though Misuzu got off pretty well anyways. Enough with Shiori, on to Aigis. Aigis is a machine. She pretty much is like that. Now, Aigis, we don't exactly know when her creation was, but we know that she had two things. One, she was alive for the 10-year period, and she's the last of something called a shadow killing device. She's a shadow killing device, pretty much. And that she was the one who sealed death in the protagonist in the first place. FYI, she's part of the reason the protagonist's life sucks, albeit unintentionally. So, it was her first mission, and afterwards she was put on I think, like, shut-off mode for, like, 10 years. Now, continuing on from that, she's later discovered during the summer vacation of the heroes. And after that, she becomes a permanent member of C's. Now, their interactions with each other, and she doesn't grow too much development during this period of time. She's still a robot, and she acts very much like a robot. However, as the game progresses, you notice she starts to become more and more human. And in that role, she continues down that path, seeing how everything happens. She also she also is controlled by Ikutsuki when his betrayal is revealed, and she helps kidnap the rest of the protagonists to be sacrificed, if not for the timely arrival of Takahura, Kirijo, and Koromaru, and her snapping out of the brainwashing. Later she sees Ryoji, and she has an instant dislike of him, though I'm going to get into more of that when we talk about Ryoji himself. Unfortunately, she battles death again on the bridge site where she did originally, and she's badly damaged and falls to the ground and cannot do much of anything. She's on after that for a little while, but is returned after being repaired, and she's very much she feels like a failure and continues down the path. And this is the one thing that I'll give. The entirety of the remaining arc shows Aigis' development. So for the final bits of the game, you really get to see how Aigis has developed and how she continues to develop, even harboring romantic feelings for the protagonist. And she's all... After Nyx's defeat, she is the only one to remember everything that happened besides the protagonist. And she's the last one with the protagonist as he dies. This is incredibly sad, as that's kind of where the game ends, with her shedding a tear. And honestly, I do have to say, Aigis is really well developed. I know my explanation of her wasn't necessarily the best, but seriously, she is a greatly developed character, and I highly recommend you try to understand this character and see her as not only a machine, but a growing human. Wow. I chose both these two to verse because, honestly, they feel like they needed to develop as human beings. Honestly, and I know this is probably the obvious answer at this point, Aigis is the winner. Keep in mind, I'm not saying Shiori's a bad character, quite the opposite. It's just she's wasted potential. She had so much potential to be a great character. Hell, in the visual novel, she has a son in the future. But I'm not gonna with Kakeru in her potential route in the future. Seriously, that's kind of awesome. Don't ask, it's a long story. Honestly, that's one thing I'll give her. She has much better development in the visual novel, at least from what I'm aware of. However, it's only a little bit more. She would have tied had these things been in there, but unfortunately, she came off as wasted potential, and ultimately, because of that, Aigis is the winner. Anyways, that's all from me. This has been Star 6 Wars 1, and I'll see you next time with the side characters of both series. See you guys then.